Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to the book Wormhole. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. As I mentioned, I am participating in the Summer Splash Readathon, and part of what I like about this readathon is that there are various lifestyle prompts to do as well as reading prompts. And one of those prompts is make it like Picasso, which is to make a piece of art based off of one of your reads. So I'm defining art pretty broadly, and one of my hobbies is to make soap. So I thought it would be fun to make a bar of soap based off of one of my reads from this month. Actually, I'm gonna make 2 bars of soap after 2 different books. So I'm gonna film this video in a couple different parts. This first part is just me explaining my concept for this video, and then I'm going to try to film a little bit of the process of making the soap, which is a little difficult just because I gotta move really quickly with it. So there's gonna be some steps I'm just not gonna be able to film, but I'm gonna try to at least give something of the making of, and then probably tomorrow I'm gonna unmold the soap and kind of show off what the end product looks like. So to explain my process, I'm going to be using melt and pour, which is a type of soap base that you can buy at most craft stores. I don't work with lye because I do this as a hobby and I do this out of my kitchen, and lye is super toxic, so I don't really want to cross-contaminate with anything that might touch food. That sounds like a good way to poison myself accidentally. So I use melt and pour, which is soap that's already been processed with lime. It's super easy to use. You pretty much cut it up into chunks, melt it, add your colorant, add your scents, and pour it in the mold and let it set, and you're done. I'm going to be using mica powder to color my soap, and for this I'm just going to do basic soap bars. So I'm just going to use my basic rectangle soap mold. I like this mold because the size is perfect for your hand. So let's explain what books I chose. I've been reading a lot of heavier books this month, so I kind of figured doing a fun craft based off of some of these heavier reads just feels inappropriate. So I kind of defaulted to my lighter reads this month, and the first is going to be Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book has been so fun to read. I haven't quite finished it yet, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And so naturally I had to pick this book to be one of the bars of soap I'm gonna make. So the scent I'm going to create for this bar of soap, first of all, very obviously I have to use oh my god, you can't read it. Yeah, there's no hope you're gonna be able to read this label. I'm gonna use my fragrance oil called Library, obviously because it's about people who love books. So to explain what this one smells like, it has this old building, old worn wood scent to it. Definitely closer to old book scent rather than new book scent, which I personally love the smell of both old books and new books, but I had to use this scent. I'm probably going to use the most of this scent because it's very subtle. So I want that to be my base for this scent. The next scent I want to add to the mixture is going to be Fraser Fir. This has a very Christmas tree pine scent to it. I chose this because they're in the woods with all these pine trees. It felt super appropriate. There's also slightly a citrusy scent too to it, so it makes it a very bright pine tree scent. This one is really strong, so I'm probably only going to do a couple drops of it. And then the third scent, and the one I'm kind of a little worried about adding to this mix, is called White Sage and Lavender. It's one of my favorite scents I have, but it doesn't really cooperate very well when I mix it with other scents. It's a very clean lavender scent, and I think that that sage, that cleansing part of it just kind of negates anything else I try to mix with this scent. So I feel like this scent might break this, but I had to include it because some of the most important characters in this book so far is Nora's mom and Nora's sister, and both of them are described to smell like lemon and lavender. Now I don't have a lemon scent, but I figured the citrus from the Fraser Fir might make up for that, and this is my only lavender scent, and like I said, I do love it, but I just haven't had very good luck mixing it with other scents in the past, so hopefully that will actually smell good. It's an experiment. We're gonna have fun with it. So I'm gonna make a bar, and I was thinking of doing layers of different colors from the cover. So I was thinking a bottom layer of turquoise, a layer of white, a layer of like the yellow that's very prominent in the cover, and then another layer of the blue, just because that turquoise blue is like the most prominent color in the cover. And also I feel like it kind of might look like a book with all of those layers. So that is bar 1. My second bar I'm going to make based off of Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. So I picked this book originally because I really wanted just a tropey romance book. And I definitely got the tropiness in it, but it is also like very much a political sci-fi as well. I feel like book lovers gave me a lot of scents to work with because there's so many scents mentioned in the book. Winter's Orbit wasn't exactly as easy for me. Nothing like scent-wise has really been mentioned, and I'm almost finished with this book too, so I'm taking a little more liberties with this one. So my base scent is gonna be Scent of Space. This is one of my novelty scents, which I've really gotten into. So the concept of this Scent of Space, is it was inspired by the smell that was left over on a helmet of an astronaut after they came back to Earth. So whether or not this actually smells like space, who can really say? I had to get this just to smell it. It's gonna be the only time I'm ever gonna smell space. So this one smells almost like a sweet metal kind of scent. It's very interesting, and also it smells a little bit of ozone, which I figured because this takes place in like winter time and there's a lot of snow, ozone's probably the closest scent to snow you can probably get. And I thought that the metal too was appropriate given that there's a lot of like machinery mentioned, and kind of the concept I'm going for this one is a specific scene where they do eventually get together. They turn from this political arranged marriage to actually becoming partners and have a romance. Is when they're flying this ship through the mountains and they end up going down and crashing. So I feel like the metal and the snow works really well for them. Because of course, once you crash in winter, you gotta huddle for warmth, you know? And then the next set I'm gonna use, throwback to the previous bar, I'm gonna use Fraser Fir again for this one. Just because again, we're in the mountains, it's winter time. This is, I think like Fraser Fir feels appropriate for the scene. So again, this is gonna be my top scent, only a couple drops because it's very powerful. And then I thought my red rose scent would be appropriate given that this is a romance, and roses sometimes are used to symbolize romance between two men. I mean romance in general, but and I just want to know what this one's gonna smell like with the Fraser Fir. I think that's gonna be a really fun combination. And obviously this one just smells like rose. It's almost like powdery, it's very light. So I'm gonna use a lot of this one too to make sure it's present. And so for this bar, I'm gonna try to do like a Cosmo swirl on the bar, but it's hard because it does set so fast once I pour it. I'm gonna do like a dark purple, a blue, and a pink, which is, I'm pretty sure, the bisexual flag, but also the colors I'm seeing from the cover. I think I'm gonna add glitter to the purple layer, and then I'm going to try to swirl it and make it look like all spacey. So that is my concept. Time to make it, and hopefully they will turn out. So it's the following day. I was surprised that I got actually more footage of the making process than I actually thought I would. And I let the soap cool off overnight, so that's why I'm filming it today. I am molded the soaps, and so now I'm going to react to them. Last night I wasn't feeling too optimistic about my Winter's Orbit theme soap. I've tried the process of swirling soap colors before, and for some reason it just never works out for me. Either like I understir them and like everything is really like patchy and not like pretty and swirled, or it mixes too much, and so the results for this one was kind of the latter. So it didn't really match my original vision. I kind of wanted it to be better defined between each color so it would resemble the cover a little bit better, which it didn't turn out that way. However, it is a really pretty like galaxy soap. While it didn't turn out how I wanted it to, I do think it turned out really pretty, and the scent turned out really good. It smells very like fresh. You definitely get the ozone. Definitely reminds me of like standing in winter. I think I could have put just a little bit more of the rose scent in it because it kind of gets lost in everything, but definitely the amount of pine I ended up putting in it was perfect because it's so subtle and not overwhelming at all. So I think the scent turned out amazing, and I think it turned out really pretty, although not what I had originally hoped for. My Book Lover soap turned out a lot more how I imagined it to. I did the layers with the 3 different colors I chose from the cover, and I wanted to make the yellow layer a little bit smaller just because there's just like a little bit of yellow on the cover, and like I said, I kind of wanted it to look like a book, which I'm not sure if it exactly looks like a book. That might be a bit of a stretch, but it did turn out how I imagined it to, so I'm pretty happy about that. And the scent turned out really good for this one too. I think the lavender is kind of lost in there. But overall, it definitely makes me think of like a cozy cabin. You know, it definitely has that like woody scent from the library fragrance oil as well as the pine. And yeah, so I'm super happy how this scent turned out, and it turned out exactly how I wanted it to visually wise. So overall, I'm pretty happy with my results, even though they didn't turn out exactly how I wanted them to. I think the scents turned out amazing. I think they're both very pretty, and I look forward to actually using these bars of soap. So I had so much fun with this craft/art project. I did this for the Summer Splash Readathon, and I will leave information for that readathon in the description below for anyone who wants to check it out for themselves. I really recommend doing this prompt because it was so much fun, and I would definitely do this again in the future. Remember to support your local library, shop independent when you can, and until next time, please stay tuned. So it's the following day. My dog's tail was like wagging, hit my desk. Bailey, you were so cute, but that's not good sound quality. Okay. Missy, go lay on the couch. Okay. Okay, why don't you just stay right there? Okay, stay right there.